Hey everyone, this is Brian Ferguson. Fans of the AWA, you are in for a real treat. My friend Joyce Poston has just released her book titled My Ringside Seat to the AWA. Joyce writes about her personal experiences with wrestlers such as Nick Bockwinkel, Lord Alfred Hayes, Baron Von Raschke, and others. Joyce also has published many photos from her collection that you will not see anywhere else. Order today by email at joyce.poston@gmail.com. Payment is through PayPal. The book is only $20 plus $6 shipping and handling. International orders, please email Joyce for shipping charge. Folks, run, don't walk to your keyboard, and order today. And enjoy the podcast.
Ooh, rock me, Amadeus. Ooh, rock me, Amadeus. Ooh, rock me, Amadeus. Ooh.
Rock me, Amadeus.
Welcome to another edition of Bumps and Thumps, the talk of wrestling. I'm Brian Ferguson. My guest today is a rising star on the independent pro wrestling circuit. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce Wrex Amadeus. Wrex, thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me on, man. I've been looking forward to it.
You know, I saw you at Mid-States probably a year ago, maybe. I can't remember exactly when. And you know, your trademark is your mustache. Yeah. But I will say, in the match you were in, I was very impressed with your not only your mic skills but your in-ring skills as well. And I want to talk about that here in a minute. But first, if we could, sir, I'd like to talk to you about where you're from and growing up, and if you went to college or anything like that. So let's just start off first with growing up. Where are you from, sir?
And basically, I'm from the Kansas City, Gladstone. Basically, lived here pretty much all my life. Went to high school up in North Kansas City. High school, the oldest school in the district, about 100 years old when I was going there in 2013. Graduated in 2013. Decent. I wasn't not really a school guy, just kind of
Yeah.
forced my way through it. Got that done. Kind of just, floated around for a little bit. And then when I ended up hooking up with Niles Planquet at a Journey show, and basically, like, I saw him post on Twitter that him and Wyatt were going to start a school, and I just started kind of bugging him every time I saw him, and then eventually I just wore him down enough, and he gave in and started training me. He is the foundation of my training.
Yeah.
But where I really I say kicked it into another levels when I hooked up with Moonshine Mantell. Me and him work out outside of the ring and everything, and it really upped my game.
Mm-hmm.
Like about 4 months before I made my debut, I was about 185 pounds. By the time I debuted in that October, I was like 210.
Okay.
Just from working with him. So yeah, I put on a lot of weight since I started doing this.
Yeah. Wow. I know. I've talked to some other guys that and females that have worked with Niles, and I hear nothing but great things about his training programs, his ability to get across to you what you need to know. What was it like for you to train with Niles? Wrestling fans, promoters, wrestlers, and anyone who enjoys pro wrestling now have something new to be excited about. The Wrestling Fans International Association, the WFIA, is back. WFIA is an association that exists to promote, grow, and support professional wrestling throughout the world. Membership is free. Your membership includes a free digital bi-monthly publication of the Wrestling Fan News newsletter, association updates, voting privileges, and much more. Please go to thewfia.org, that's thewfia.org, and become a member today.
It was very good at teaching me the foundations of everything. because of what he taught me, I'm pretty sure like I have a foundation in how to deal with pretty much any style I come across.
Mm.
Even like ones I'm not exactly used to, I could pretty much base myself to them when I needed to.
Mm-hmm.
He's very good at breaking down a move into like pieces, and then we make it make sense psychologically and technically and all that stuff. He's got some of that old school in him because he's trained by Sonny Myers and Harley Race and all that, and Derek Stone,
Mm-hmm.
some old school guys. But he's not like
Yep.
bogged down by like the negative stuff that's involved with that kind of stuff, you know.
Right.
But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let me ask you this: how were you a fan of wrestling while you were in high school or grade school, and just said, "I want to do this," or how did that all come about? I mean, were you a fan?
I've been a fan since I was 6 years old. In
Okay.
2002, when I saw Rey Mysterio debut on SmackDown against Chavo Guerrero, and I just was kind of flipping channels, looking around, and I saw this dude in a bright red outfit that looked like Spider-Man flying around my screen, and I was immediately mesmerized
Yeah.
by watching that. So I kind of grew up in the ruthless aggression era, but my fandom kicked a new level like during, I'd say about 15, 16. That's when I started getting into more indie stuff. But I wanted to be a wrestler since probably like I was in high school, you know, really started putting in,
Hmm.
but you know, life got in the way and stuff. So it took a while for me to get to that point.
Yeah. No, I understand that, but so you've been doing this for what, about 3 or 4 years? How long you been in the business?
This October I would have been doing it for 2 years.
Okay. So
Yeah, I'm like about a year and three quarters right now.
okay. Well, and I'll tell you, Rex, I'll be honest, I thought you did it longer because, and it seems like every mid-states wrestler that I've spoken to that I don't know how long they've been in the business, like, uh, there's a few other ones that names escape me right now, but they said, "Oh, I've only been doing this for a year or a year and a half," and you guys look like you've been doing it for 3 or 4 years, and I attribute that obviously to Niles. But you've been at Mid States for a while. What about working for the Space Cowboy? What's that like for you?
Um, Working for the old space cowboy.
Yeah.
One thing you never want to do is ask him for some General Sal's. Don't do that. Um, I don't know if he told you that story when he came interview you, but it's a good one. With
Yeah.
my trainer messing with him like way back in when they first started booking him and stuff. So it's a pretty good one. But it's always super fun. Springfield and Harrison, while they're not like they're only about an hour apart, and it's the same
Yeah.
promotion. The crowds are just different enough that like they're unique in their own way, and they're always super fun.
Hmm.
Never have any issues with any of them. My favorite part though is like Springfield has a special place because there's like this 3-year-old girl who is like terrified of me. Like when I come out to the ring, she will like literally like duck her face into her mom and will not look at the ring the whole time that I am out there. It is the funniest thing to me every time I see her.
Well, that's because you're a heel there all the time.
Oh, what? I'm pretty sure I'm pretty nice, you know. I think.
But you're a heel there. You're either teaming with a heel or you're wrestling a baby face. I mean, you gotta. I know you can't help it. That's the where the cards fall in the deck. But
Oh yeah,
you
I
know
know.
these.
I love being a heel, man. I can't. This is way more fun.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody that I've talked to always they like being a heel because they get out of their normal personality and they can kind of get in there and ruffle feathers and do all that kind of stuff. I think that's pretty neat. I really I enjoy your guys' show. I will say this, Springfield. I mean, been watching. I've been at Mid States now for about 2 years. I've been following them pretty much either in Harrison or Springfield. And I will say this: that every time I'm at a Springfield show, sold out. Every time, sold out. People trying to get in there and they can't. They're trying to buy a ticket at the night of the show.
Oh yeah.
Can't. Forget it.
You know when that streak started, right? When I started showing up, they've been doing that since. Yeah, like literally my first Springfield show was like the first sellout, and then they sell out pretty much every time. After that, I've been on pretty much every single Springfield show, and they don't, if they had, if they, would put me up there though, they've been selling out because people know I'm going to be there every time.
I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due. If it's since you started as far as being there, I don't think it's a coincidence.
Exactly. There's no such thing as coincidences, just convergences.
That's right. Let me ask you this: you've worked in other promotions.
Yes.
So, what promotion besides Mid States do you really think that you enjoy working for? That just has that locker room good feel and the crowd feel. Where's another place that you really just enjoy working at?
Did you ever wonder what could have been with the AWA had things gone differently? Had their fortunes gone differently? Had certain wrestlers not left and perhaps more money would have been at the disposal of the Gagnes? Well, wonder no further. You can go to Brad Drake's YouTube channel and experience the 1987 Supermod for yourself, as Brad Drake starts off in May 1987 along with Greg Gagne, Baron von Raschke, Vern Gagne himself, Nick Bockwinkel, Larry Zbyszko, Kurt Hennig, and a slew of others as he plays and saves the AWA.
CSW, Central States Wrestling in Kansas City. I'm friends with, I pretty much train and I'm friends with like pretty much everyone in that locker room. And, it's ran by like Michael Strider, a guy I really look up to and respect in ring and everything, and outside and inside of the ring. And the crowd, every time I've been there, is super fun.
Yeah.
And then you have like others, like Steel Domain up in Minnesota is a pretty fun promotion too. And I just went to Texas earlier this year. They were a whole different crowd, and they were, fun too. Thankfully, I've been with most crowds that they get energetic pretty easily. And it's fun. So.
That's interesting. Steel Domain. You're the second one I've heard about with Steel Domain up in Minnesota. I'm originally from Wisconsin, about 2 hours northeast of where Steel Domain is. And I hear nothing but good things. I got to go catch one of those cards sometime whenever I'm up there. So let me ask you this. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Who is a person, either as an opponent or a tag team partner, that you just have a lot of good chemistry with in the ring that you just enjoy really working with?
But for opponents, I have like two really that stick out.
Okay.
One is Kelsey Magnolia. We've wrestled quite a few times, and each time we do, we add new things. We add new like pathways that can go depending on the crowd if they react one way or they react another way. But we always have a lot of fun doing our matches, and it's not. And I got this when we had our match at Honor Among Wrestling, we actually had them come up to us and say, that wasn't what we thought, because most intergender matches they don't really put a lot of oomph, behind hits and moves. But I hit her like I would any other dude, and she hits me just as probably harder than any other person she hit. And I look like that's my favorite type of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, but the other person who I just click with on like every level, I think every time I get into super fun is Gary Roosevelt Graham down in Mid States.
Okay. Yeah.
Every time we get in there, it's just I don't know, it feels like it does, like we'll go like 10 minutes and they're like, oh, it's only been 10 minutes. We could have gone like another 20, well, maybe not 20, but like another way we could have gone a while. And it's like always fun, and it's like everything just flows so easy, and it click, and we just click.
Yeah. Gary Roosevelt Graham had him on few months back. Just a heck of a guy, and he's been around for a while, but he I think him, uh, Luke Langley, uh, those guys really they can probably be in the ring with just about anybody and put on a great show. And a great match. I truly believe that. Every match I've seen with them, I don't care who they're in the ring with. It's always a great match.
Both
So
both of those guys have amazing matches, and both of them have helped me out. Like they've like kind of taken me under the wings in certain
yeah,
aspects, helped me out a lot. So I
yeah,
can't appreciate them enough in all
yeah,
everything.
yeah. Traveling, when you go from Kansas City, Springfield, Harrison, Texas, Minnesota, Illinois, probably, I'm sure. What is that hard on you? I mean, I'm sure you have another, you work doing something else other than wrestling. So is that kind of hard, difficult for you to like, hey, I need this time off for this to go to this weekend, or how's that work out for you?
It used to be a little annoying at my old job because I'd have to like know about it like weeks in advance, and sometimes that just doesn't happen. Sometimes you just get the notice like that the next day before, and like, hey, can you be up here? 5 hours away on a split notice, and I'm like, I can't just take off for those. Now my new job, I have weekends off, and I can pretty much take off whenever I need to do a show.
Okay.
And driving doesn't really bother me too much.
Yeah.
Like, especially even if I'm by myself, I just shoot through that stuff. I put on some podcasts, and then I'm good to go.
You put on Bumps and Thumps, right?
Oh yeah, totally, man.
I had to throw that in there,
Definitely.
All right, the big question I'm sure everybody wants to know about. Are you ready?
Let me hit me.
All right, the handlebar mustache. Give us the scoop on, because when you're in the ring, or when you're coming to the ring, or you're outside the ring, you're always twisting usually, I shouldn't say always, twisting your handlebars and flexing. How did you come up with that trademark there?
Well, the mustache kind of just came out of as I can grow facial hair pretty quickly.
Mhm.
So I just like in the middle of the pandemic, I'm like, you know what? Let's try a mustache and see how it looks. If I don't like it, I can shave it off and it's whatever about it.
Mhm.
And then I looked at him, I kind of like it. And I'm like, let me grow it out a little bit too.
Yeah.
And at first it was just like lip up and then it was still handlebars, but now I've grown like all the way down underneath it so it goes even farther. Um, But it was basically just something I thought looked pretty interesting, and plus I was getting really into '80s stuff, and I was watching a lot of like Dutch Mantel, and like there was like Ox
Yeah.
Baker, and like
Yeah.
all these dudes with these like incredible facial hairs, and I'm like, you know what? I don't see a lot of people with mustaches or like mustaches that look like this,
Yeah.
and it sticks out enough that people were like, they even when I'm like just hanging around in the crowd, people will see me and like, oh, there he is. I can see his mustache. It
Yeah.
sticks out.
It does stick out, and you're right. You think of Dutch Mantel. That's who I would think of right away. When I see you, I'm like, man, if he had a big cowboy hat and maybe a bullwhip or something, he could be Dirty Rex. There, hey, I just named a name for you. There you go, Dirty Rex
I don't know if I could
Amadeus.
live up. I don't know if I could live up to the Dirty Dutch.
You don't have to live
Yeah,
up. I'm just saying, kind of take some gimmicks and make them your own. And I don't know. I
oh
don't know.
yeah.
You remind me of that. And there was one match I remember I saw you, and your chest was, I think it was actually with Gary, if I remember right. It was either Gary or Luke here in Springfield. It was a while ago, or it might have been Harrison. But you had beet red and actually had welts on your chest from that match.
Oh, that was probably a Gary match because I haven't wrestled Luke yet,
Okay.
but Gary, we had a match in Harrison where we just basically the point was to just beat the piss out of each other and make it look like get as aggressive as possible with it,
Yeah.
you know. But that was the night we were doing like the months of tapings every week, and
Okay.
I had been like attacking people all night too. And I was diving in. I was like, I jumped in, right before that. I jumped in the ring to attack Jimmy Fiasco, and I was convinced the whole time I was going to Titus O'Neil myself and just face plant. But I was able to dive in to the so good that no one even saw me until I was already pounding on him. And then Gary, stuck his nose in, and then finally.
Hello, everyone. This is Brian Ferguson, the host of Bumps and Thumps, the talk of wrestling. I want to tell you about a new podcast out called Fouls Count Anywhere. It is a classic pro wrestling podcast that brings you the legends of wrestling with true wrestling fans Chris DiCarlo and Charlie Turner. They bring on guests that are legends in this business, and as well as wrestlers of today, promoters, referees, you name it, they have them on there, folks. And I encourage you to listen to them. If you're on YouTube, watch them. They drop every Saturday. They have their podcast. They drop it in the afternoon. So look forward to that podcast coming out. Falls Count Anywhere podcast with Chris DiCarlo and Charlie Turner. Folks, you will not be disappointed. I guarantee it. And enjoy the podcast. Yeah, I remember that, and I actually felt sorry for you because it just looked like it hurt, and I'm sure it hurt for a few days after. I mean, you don't have to admit it on here,
I've been
I'm
hit
just
by
saying-
moonshine, and then once you've been shocked by moonshine, everyone else, doesn't. It's kind of hard to top that. He killed those nervous cells like when he whooped my butt in Springfield.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I will say this: since I saw you in Harrison, I mean, you've come a long ways. You have your in-ring ability, like I said earlier. Even if you get, I will say, get in other people's business, but if you just happen to be near ringside and you're helping your friend out or cohort, you're much more. How do I say? Believable, and actually, people get pretty upset with you, and that means you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Is that taken? How does that make you feel? I guess when you like, okay, I've got these people upset or whatever. Does that make you feel like, yeah, I'm happy?
I love it. Like I go by like the old school kind of like I want them to not like I don't want them to think I'm cool. I don't care if they like me or anything. Like
Mm-hmm.
I go out of like the old school where I want them to pretty much legitimately hate me.
Yeah.
Like like I don't want to be a cool heel, but I want to be a heel.
You want to be a heel, yeah. So that's why that little girl doesn't like you. You're doing your job.
Oh yeah.
You're doing a lot of heat. You're getting a lot of heat, and it's working. So let me ask, hey, fashions or groups, whatever you want to call them, are we going to see something with you and maybe some other in the future? Maybe with Hanson, or I see you guys come out. I mean, is there something in the future maybe with maybe getting a little group together?
I've been working an angle. I've been trying to get these guys to realize we all need to like group together and do some teams. But like right now, I'm mainly focusing on like single stuff.
Yeah.
But I have some buddies that like tag team that like I want to tag team with and all that. But right now it's just kind of one offs and all that.
Okay. Because I think maybe yourself, Hanson, and maybe the astonishing one. I think that'd be an interesting group.
That would be a pretty good, but I don't think the ring could hold that much amazing in like one space.
Yeah. You'd probably have to have a manager to keep you all under a little bit of control there. You'd have to have like a guy that could, keep your guys' egos in check behind the closed curtain there, and then when you come out, you're all in sync in unison. Maybe something like that. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here with you and throwing out ideas. Who knows? But if I ever see that, I'll say, well, they took my idea and they ran with it. So good.
There you go.
Well, hey, I want to ask you one more thing, and we'll let you go because I know you're a busy man. You got some matches. Tell us about what's coming up in the future for Mr. Wrex here, Wrex Amadeus.
Well, I have my next thing is August 12th, Mid States in Springfield. After that, I am having a match for Tri-States Wrestling in Breckenridge, Missouri, against Jeremy Wyatt for the U.S. Highway Championship. Really looking forward to that match. Jeremy Wyatt is a legend in this area, so I'm looking forward to that big time.
Yeah.
I have a show in on the 30th of September right now that nothing's really been talked about yet, so I'm just going to say I have the date. And then October, I have a couple other dates for Tri-States Wrestling as well in Gladstone.
Okay.
So that's what I got right now. But I'm always looking for more stuff and more opportunities to prove how good, get better at wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the huge improvement in your in-ring ability, and so I think you're doing very well. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
You bet. So we're gonna leave it there, folks. One more time, Wrex Amadeus. If you see him on the marquee or on a poster on Facebook, run, don't walk to your keyboard and get those tickets, because I'm telling you, it's going to be a show.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's with Mid-States, Tri-States, Steel Domain, wherever. These guys, they're working their tails off to put a quality program on for you, and they could always use the support. So, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Wrex Amadeus, thanks for coming on today, sir. And yes, twist the trade arc. I couldn't do that. I couldn't grow that out like that. I am already. Of course, I don't have any hair on top either. So it's.
I got that.
You got plenty of hair too. Yeah, I see it. So, all right, Wrex. Hey, thanks for coming on today. Really appreciate it. Folks, if you're watching, thank you. If you're listening, thank you. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so, and we will talk to you soon.
Superstar. Superstar. Superstar.